Hello and welcome to the Awakening with Kelvin Peary podcast, part of our Bridges to Prosperity series. I'm so glad you could join me today as we unpack Zambia's national budget for the year 2026. Now, I know many people hear the word budget and immediately think this is too technical. This is for economists or politicians. But the truth is, a budget is for every Zambian. It decides how much medicine is in the hospital, how many teachers are in our children's classrooms, whether roads will be fixed, and even how much relief we get when times are hard. So today, let's break down this budget in plain English. Let's see what it means for ordinary people and for us in the diaspora who are building back home. And before we get into the details, here's my quick disclaimer. What I share is based on the official 2026 budget speech and other credible information. It's for education and discussion only, not financial or legal advice. How big is the budget? For 2026, the Zambian government plans to spend 253 billion kwacha. That's the pot of money to run the country for the year. It will cover salaries for teachers and nurses, construction of roads and hospitals, support for farmers, and also the repayment of debts. Most of this money, about 206 billion, will come from taxes. That includes pay as you earn from salaries, value-added tax when we buy goods, mining royalties, and customs duties at the borders. Another 12 billion will come as grants from cooperating partners, and the balance, around 34 billion, will be borrowed. So, in simple terms, the money is mainly raised at home through the taxes we pay, topped up by help from partners, and then supported by borrowing to close the gap. Why call it a people's budget? This budget is being described as people-focused because of the areas that get the biggest allocations. The government is clearly saying our people come first. Take education. Over 33 billion kwacha has been set aside. This covers free education, completion of schools and universities, procurement of desks, and loans and scholarships for students from poor families. Since 2022, more than 42,000 teachers have been recruited. In 2025, 2,000 more are being added, and in 2026 government will recruit another 3,500. That's a clear signal of commitment to improving education in every part of the country. Health also gets strong attention. More than 26 billion kwacha is going into the health sector. Over 6 billion of this is for medicines and medical supplies, a big increase compared to last year, and close to 1 billion for medical equipment. The budget also provides for new hospitals and clinics and the recruitment of 2,500 health workers. When you look at these two areas alone, education and health, you see why this is being called the people's budget. Because investing in schools and hospitals is really investing in the future of every Zambian household. Roads, power, and farming. But people also need opportunities, and that's where roads, power, and agriculture come in. 14.5 billion kwacha has been allocated for roadworks. This means more feeder roads, more urban roads, and progress on big projects like dual carriageways and border posts. Roads connect farmers to markets, children to schools, and businesses to customers. The budget also creates a new electricity fund with 500 million kwacha. This is in response to the power shortages we all know too well. The idea is to stabilize supply, bring in more renewable energy like solar, and reduce dependence on hydropower, which has been badly hit by drought. Agriculture and livestock are getting over 15 billion kwacha. This includes more than 9 billion for the Farmer Input Support Program, money for food reserves, and funds for animal health services. The government has also set ambitious production targets. In 2026, Zambia aims to produce 3.8 million tons of maize, 1 million tons of soya beans, and 1 million tons of wheat. These are not just for local consumption, but also for export, meaning more opportunities for farmers to to earn and for Zambia to strengthen its food security. Protecting the vulnerable. A people's budget must also look after the most vulnerable. Here we see about 15.7 billion kwacha allocated to social protection. The social cash transfer program will receive 7.6 billion, reaching 1.5 million households. Retirees will get almost 5 billion through pension payments. Vulnerable farmers will be supported with 1.5 billion through the food security pack, which is expected to reach about 270,000 households. On top of this, the Constituency Development Fund, or CDF, has gone up again. Every constituency will now receive 40 million kwacha. This is money for building schools and clinics, drilling boreholes, and empowering youth and women groups at the local level. It is development that people can actually see in their communities. The debt question. Now, let's be honest. A very big part of the budget still goes to paying back debt, more than 73 billion kwacha. That's money that could have built more schools or roads, but it must be paid because of past borrowing. The positive side is that government is showing commitment to debt repayment and restructuring. This builds trust with investors and partners and sets Zambia on a path where future budgets can focus more on development and less on debt. What changes in taxes and fees? There are some changes that people will feel. Mobile money levies are going up slightly, so sending and withdrawing cash will cost a bit more. Toll fees for heavy trucks are also rising, which could have an effect on transport costs. But there are also positive measures. For example, customs duties are being adjusted to encourage local industries. Milk and dairy processing, vehicle assembly and farming are being given more support. Plastic bags will now carry a heavy tax to encourage the use of cleaner alternatives, which is good for our environment. What does this mean for Zambians in the diaspora? The budget speech itself does not directly mention the diaspora, but the measures it outlines create opportunities that are very relevant to Zambians living abroad. If you are building back home, the focus on roads, electricity and schools means your projects will be easier to complete over time. Yes, in the short term, building materials may remain costly, but the long-term direction is positive. If you are into exports, bringing in goods like solar panels, building materials, or equipment, you need to know that tax rules are tightening. Compliance will be stricter, but opportunities will remain, especially if you align with local partners. The sectors of agriculture, tourism, and manufacturing are clearly being prioritized. For diaspora investors, these are areas where your capital and expertise can make a big impact. And of course, remittances, the money we send home, continue to play a vital role in Zambia's economy. Government is working to make these transfers more efficient, recognizing the diaspora as partners in development. A shared responsibility. So is this a good budget? I would say yes, it is a people's budget. It puts money where it matters most. Into schools, into hospitals, into roads, into farming, and into social protection. Of course, the challenges are still there. Debt repayments and the high cost of living mean people may not feel immediate relief. But the direction is clear. This budget is about laying the foundation for a better future. The real test will be in implementation. Will the money reach the schools, the hospitals, the roads, and the farmers? That is where all of us come in. Government, the private sector, citizens, and the diaspora all have a role to play in making this budget work. Thank you for tuning into the Awakening with Kelvin Piri podcast. My hope is that today's breakdown has shown you why the 2026 budget is being called a people-focused budget. It may not solve every problem overnight, but it sets us on the path toward prosperity, resilience, and equity. If you found this episode useful, please share it with your family, your friends, and your networks. Together, we can keep building those bridges to prosperity. Until next time, take care, stay hopeful, and remain inspired.